Hey guys, it's 2026. Haven't done one of these in a while, so need to get this information back out on a regular basis. But I wanted to talk today about shuttle bus weddings specifically. You might be driving a shuttle, you might be driving a van, or supporting somehow a wedding transportation. So first thing I want to do is talk about why are we hired, and we want to go through what creates anxiety for clients, how we can reduce client anxiety. We're going to talk about some job sheets. So it's going to be a long video, but we're going to try to buzz through it. And if you get any questions, always give me a call. So why are we hired? We're hired because somebody has, number one, a problem. The problem is they got to get a group of people from one spot to another spot, or maybe different spots to two or three, point A to point B, C, D, wherever. So they look for companies like us to help them move people. Now, keep in mind, we do this every day. They do it once in a lifetime a lot of times. So it's our job to sort of help them through the process. And it's one of the reasons that we're hired by a lot of, or recommended by a lot of reception halls and things, because we go through a lot of time to make sure that we have everything set up for the client that's correct. And you're integral in performing that when we're out there in the field. So number two, they want to reduce their stress, right? We talk about that a lot in our business. When stress comes down, satisfaction goes up, okay? So the more things that we do to reduce stress, the higher the satisfaction. The higher the satisfaction, the more jobs we get, the more money you make, the more money we make. And so it's important to identify what are those stress pieces in our transportation world. So, and the last thing is they're hiring us to keep people safe, right? So, back when 30 years ago, there wasn't really any transportation at weddings. Now it's limos are gone. Shuttle buses is what people are hiring now to make sure that people aren't drinking and driving. So what do they want to do? They have got a problem. We're going to fix the problem. We're going to reduce their stress, and we're going to keep people safe. Those are the three things that they're hiring us for. Let's talk a little bit about client anxiety. Client anxiety, you're dealing with a day that's already fully packed of emotion and energy. So the more that we communicate to somebody, the more that anxiety comes down. The more that anxiety comes down, the more that satisfaction goes up. So where does it come from? Obviously, it's pressure-packed day. Number two, it comes from the unknown. And so maybe they hired Bayside Limousines. They heard great things about them. Reviews are off the chart. They called us 6 months ago. We set up a wonderful plan for them. We even talked to them on Tuesday to reconfirm all the job. But guess what? Here it is Saturday morning. We haven't heard from any chauffeur. We haven't heard from anything. Are they coming? Are they not coming? It's this dark abyss. And all of a sudden that anxiety starts creeping up. However, and some of you all do this diligently, the folks that call their clients a day or two prior and introduce themselves help bring that anxiety down. So by all means, call your client, go over the itinerary with them. Make sure that, because again, that's a part of our checks and balances system, right? So I make mistakes, you make mistakes, but if you're checking my work and I'm checking your work, then we're less likely to have it impact the client. So by all means, help reduce that anxiety, call the client, talk to them. Night before, they're probably at a rehearsal dinner, so you're probably not going to catch them. So, maybe midweek. Now, keep in mind that sometimes some of these events, the itinerary is a work in progress right up until the 11th hour. So we want to make sure that, that we're talking about the most pertinent information. For a long time, we used to work off pieces of paper, right? We don't work off pieces of paper at Bayside. We work off an electronic system. The reason we work off an electronic system is because it has the most up-to-date relevant information right there in the electronic format in your portal. So if you printed out a job sheet on Tuesday or maybe even Thursday, well, if they called in Friday and made an update, you're working off wrong information. So always check your portal. Always make sure that that's what you're going by on these things. So, so how to reduce the stress? As I said, call your client. Give them a text that morning. Hey, Mr. Smith, I'm on the way to the shop. I'll see you in a few hours. Stress level down. Then satisfaction goes up. So those things are critical. Anxiety, reducing our anxiety, understanding the venue. make sure that you're doing your homework on the venue. It's very important because each venue might have a certain set of circumstances that are different. So, I mean, for example, Harrington on the Bay, they have 3 different spots for weddings. If you just happen to punch in Harrington on the Bay on your GPS, you've got a 1 in 3 chance of choosing the right spot. So make sure you're looking at addresses. Make sure you're looking at zip codes. Make sure you're looking at itineraries and that they make sense. And if they don't make sense, call me or the office the week of, because I'm not perfect and I do make mistakes, but we need your input and your involvement to make sure that we're, at the end of the day, we're getting the job done the way that it's supposed to be done for the client. So I want to talk a little bit about your job sheets, right? Again, now I printed one out. Now we're gonna use it electronically, but this is a good example of the amount of detail that we try to give you all so that you know what's going on. We want to know what time the ceremony is. We want to know what time the reception's over. We want to know who the point of contact is. Who are we taking direction from? And then we like to know how many people we anticipate. Now, very seldom do we get all of those things in an itinerary, but we like to get as much information as possible. That way you have better tools in order to do your job. There's certain things on here that are super important to pay attention to. For example, if it says hard departure time at 4:15, well, that means at 4:15, whether there's one person on the bus or you have a full bus, we're rolling. Same thing at the end of the night. It's very important to understand the dynamics at the end of the night because, for example, let's just say you have 2 people that walk out of the reception at 9:55 and they want to go back to the hotel, and the hotel is 15 to 20 minutes away. Well, from your information that the reception's over at 10. Well, those people are going to have to wait until 10 o'clock, okay? Because you're getting ready to have a whole busload of people walk out in about 5 or 7 minutes. So again, this is a framework. It's got a lot of great information. If it's missing information, try to obtain it yourself or ask me. Sometimes we don't get it, but this is a 2-pager. I mean, it's quite a bit of stuff. So know the itinerary, know what time the ceremony is, know what you're dealing with, know how many people you anticipate. I mean, if you're anticipating 50 people and you got a 14 passenger vehicle, we got a problem. Schedules, especially on the front end of shuttle work, are super, super important because you might be doing loops. If you're doing loops, we work towards a time, not towards a capacity. And that's very important. So again, with my example, if it says on your sheet 4:15 hard departure, it's 4:15 hard departure. With the exception if the point of contact instructs you otherwise. So, and if that's the case, then document it. Sally Smith told me at 4:13 not to leave till 4:20. Then it goes on Sally Smith, not on us. So it's very important to understand your framework of your itinerary. Now, this is a framework. It's important to understand that this might change day of, okay? You might have to solve a new problem the day of. So what we don't want is somebody to go, sorry, man, I know you want to leave at 9. We're not leaving till 10. Well, if you have an opportunity to solve somebody's problem, which is they're leaving at 9 o'clock and it's a 10-minute ride each way, the answer is not, it's not my job. I'm not leaving till 10. The answer is no problem. The answer is no problem. We'll take care of it as long as it doesn't impact your framework. So if there's no harm, there's no foul. But denying somebody service, these people are typically, we're different. There's some companies out there that charge you an hour here, an hour there. We charge for the entire time for the most part. So what does that mean? That means they have access to the use of those vehicles the entire time. So if somebody comes out at 9, you're not supposed to leave till 10, and we tell them, no, we've denied them access to that thing that they're paying for. So it's very important to understand that things may change on the day of, as long as it doesn't impact the big group, as long as it doesn't impact your schedule. Again, you got to think when you're out there. Not everything is black and white. Everything evolves, and you got to operate as a team. It's very important. Now we're going to institute a new kind of policy where if there's 2 or more vehicles on a job, we're going to have a lead person on that, and we're going to put that on the sheet who to go to in case there's a question. So we want to make sure we have a protocol that we follow, which is we follow what the itinerary says, what the lead chauffeur says, what the point of contact says, and then if we have to get the person involved in renting the vehicle, then we will. But for the most part, we're intelligent, grown humans that can figure things out. But it's important to work as a team because, for example, if you've got a bus that's over full and your bus is not full and you're going right past the hotel that they're dropping off at, put the people on your bus. Take them and drop them off. Solve the problem. Okay? So make sure that we're there for the right reasons. We're there to solve the problem, reduce anxiety, and we're there for safety. Work as a team inside those things. So the other thing that we're hired by a lot of places because we've taken that approach for a long time where we're solving problems, we're doing the right thing. But every once in a while we need a reminder of why we do this. And the reminder is we do this for money. We don't do this for fun. This is we do this to make a living or make extra part-time job. I do it to make a living. But if we're going to do something, we're going to do it correctly. And the correct thing is to identify those 3 things and to make sure that we are making adjustments when we're out there in the field that benefit our clients and don't put them at risk or in safety. So the answer is yes, if we can make it happen. Again, if somebody comes out, we're charging them the whole time. You're getting paid the whole time. So to deny them would be a derelict of service. So we don't want to do that. Now, somebody comes out at 9:55 and the rest of the group's coming out at 10. No, sorry, you're going to have to wait. But you're going to have to think and make sure that you know how far you're going, how long it takes to get back, and those kind of things. So those are the things that we wanted to talk about. Let's talk about where you shouldn't be during a wedding, okay? Or the time that you're off, okay? You dropped everybody off at 5 o'clock. You don't have to pick anybody up till 9. You shouldn't be back home. You shouldn't be out very far from the facility. I mean, again, they're paying us to be there at their service. If there's an emergency and they've got to wait 30 minutes to an hour for the bus that they're paying for, they're going to have a problem. And we're going to have a problem. So we should be posted up close by. We shouldn't be on the other side of town. We shouldn't be at a friend's house. We certainly should be available. And yeah, it sucks to sit there in a bus for 4, 5, 6 hours sometimes. If this is not your gig, don't do it. So where else should we not be? We should not be in people's receptions. So we've had a problem with this over the years with maybe not somebody that's on our staff, but we've had this report before where we've had chauffeurs walk into the reception and start mingling like they're an invited guest. That's not, we're a professional service. We do not belong in people's weddings, receptions. That's just not what we do. So those are a couple of things that we should not be at. We should be available. We shouldn't be, out someplace else. And again, if you can't dedicate that time to this job, then do something else. But we should be attentive to our clients. And again, a lot of things go great. We do a great job, I think, but I do think we need to tighten up some of our shuttle stuff. I think we need to make sure that we're there on time, we're leaving on time, we're communicating. I'm telling you guys and ladies, the biggest thing you can do in this business is communicate with your client. The more you communicate with them, whether it's verbal, whether it's text, the happier they are. It's really that simple. So communication is certainly the key. And again, there might be times where you're asked to extend the charter. The question isn't, well, my job's over at 12. You have us booked till 12. No problem. What do you need? You've already done the hard part. You've already accepted the job, got dressed in your gear, drove to the shop, picked up the bus, gone on to do the job, and they want another half hour or an hour. If you tell them no, guess what? Guarantee you're not going to get a tip, and guarantee they're not going to be happy. So, our job is yes. Again, we want to go by framework. We want to make sure that we know what we're doing. We want to make sure that we're doing the right things, but we also have to understand that during the day, we got to use our brain. We got to go, all right, yeah, I do need to post up here. I don't need to stand, be over there. and I can take somebody back, even if it's not on my list. It's somebody, it's an old person that's, oh, can you take me to XYZ 123 because we have an emergency? No problem. So if you got any questions, give me a call. As always, thanks for listening to me. We'll probably try to get some more of these out in the future. We do a good job. We need to do a great job. And, I think we will. So thanks again. And see you guys out there in the field.